Alright, we are back here in City Skylines, and today it's time for a different intro. It's really difficult to not say the same thing every time I start recording one of these videos. And it just feels so strange to say something different. But there we go, we did a totally different intro there. So welcome back, now I'm going straight into the old one. And yeah, City Skylines, amazing game. We talk about how amazing this is every episode. I've been really enjoying this. And I'm really looking forward to what we're going to do in today's episode. We're going to build like a sports district, our own one, using some of the custom parks that are available down here, which is going to be fun. And before we get to that, I got a couple of pro tips and cool things to talk about here in the city, as well as always doing research and figuring things out in between episodes. And of course, if you want to see another episode tomorrow, 2,000 likes, and there will be another daily video for you. Look at these yellow buildings right here. They really do pop out. But anyway, we have immense traffic problems in this area. At the moment, it's a little bit quieter than usual. The way we can usually gauge how bad it is by coming over here and looking at the stream of traffic going in. So anyway, I was kind of thinking about it, and I think what we've done here is demanded too much like traffic coming into the area for the roads themselves. Now possibly I could tweak the roads, but what I think has made a big difference is the amount of this high density residential. That's when the traffic really kicked up a gear. So one of the things I'm going to do in a moment, not going to do it right now, is go around and rezone one ring around the entire way around to the lower commercial, and then we'll see if that makes a difference to the traffic, and I think it will. Yes, I think it will. So as well as that, I've got another bit of information for you over here. I've been thinking about the district policy for banning traffic. What you could do is create a little district like this and then say no heavy traffic, and I do believe you'd be able to stop the trucks going back and forth between the two areas or across the road. So I'd be careful about how we use that though, because a lot of trucks come in and out of the entire area, like, you know, connected up to other cities, wherever they may be. But what I've been noticing is that these industries right here produce specific materials that go out to our industry area. So if you have a look, let's pause the game, you'll see, oh, it's the garbage truck. Okay, that's not a great example, is it? Because that's not related to this. So maybe there's another truck here. There we go. Okay, so that's going to the box factory over here. So that's going to produce some goods then for this area. That's how it works. And what I've been thinking is they're driving back and forth and they're contributing to traffic. Now, probably not where we're actually having most of our traffic problems, but here's what I've been thinking. If we were to connect this area up directly to this one right here, then they'd be able to take them to the cargo bay or go down these roads into the city, unless we use that policy to ban the heavy traffic. Now, I think the way we're going to have to do that is to actually just connect this up over, let's say, like we build a road around the back here, and then we have a singular road that connects it to this, and that's the road that we say no heavy traffic. So we don't ban it from this road specifically, just the connection to it. Or actually we could do that right here, couldn't we? Let's think about that for a second. So let's say we build a district here that's no heavy traffic, and then we take our little dirt road that we've got over here. The reason we're using a dirt road, by the way, is because we were just experimenting with this, so we weren't taking it too seriously. And let's go up and over. Can we go over the power lines? That is something I want to know. And the answer is no. Maybe if we go a little bit higher. Look at that, we can go over the power lines. That looks really awful, I know, but I'll come back and change it later. So yeah, if we put the road going over to here, they're now connected, and with that policy that we can do on Sterling Park. That's not the right name for this place, that's for sure. So let's put in the, where is it? The it's on city planning, not the high-rise ban, the heavy traffic ban. Let's put that one in place, and then what are we going to call this, eh? Traffic ban. So creative. So now the trucks are not allowed to go through the connection to the motorway. And again, all of this was temporary. I know it looks absolutely ugly, but we're just experimenting with the oil industry over here. So the only place it can actually take its goods is to a place it will take it because it's the cargo terminal. So it's going to take it then from there into the industry area. So we're going to localize the traffic between the goods and the industry area through the cargo bays. So that should help reduce traffic in that area right there. And I've been thinking about doing something similar for this area, building a cargo bay, but essentially what we're going to do is just remove this traffic right here that goes into the city, and then the same amount of traffic will probably be in the city from the cargo bay. So I'm not really sure if that's the right move to do at the moment, but we want to get away from this. We've spent a lot of time on our commercial hub. I've got one more tip for you, something really important to let you know about. I actually got this from watching another video. If I remember to, I'll put a link to it down in the description box. But let's say you've got a highway road like this. You're going from left to right, you're whizzing down here, and you want to connect to the highway. If you create a road like this is actually not going to be the best example because the highway automatically curves the road. So let's just take a regular road like this. Let's make it one way. So we're still going from left to right, and then let's say we have a junction that joins like that. Now, actually, if we use the highway road, I think we'll get rid of the traffic lights. So that's almost, I think it didn't snap. Yeah, look at this, it's not snapping. So let's say that that's just a right-hand turn. When your traffic comes down this road, and I know it's facing in the wrong direction, to turn left, if it's a right-hand turn like this, it's going to slow down to make its turn, which means it's going to slow down traffic, right? So what you actually want to do when you're connecting up your roads is get a parallel road like that, so that's a 90-degree turn, and then you want to come across from here to here. When you see the grid lines, that means that it's the right angle. If you don't, if you see it curve, or you see a lack of grid lines, then you've not got the right angle. But that right there is the road that you want, and then if you connect it to that same point, which I think I might have forgotten, but basically anywhere off of here, and let's just destroy this so I can demonstrate it quickly. If you're going in a straight direction like this, which it will snap to, so you see how it snaps, and then you connect to this road like that, that's now a 45 degree turn, and that will mean that the traffic won't slow down when it joins this road right here. So let's just take a look at that again. Imagine that's going in the right direction. Any traffic come down here will slow down before turning. That means any flow of traffic here will also have to slow down to let the cars come in. And so if you go and join at this angle right here, then they're not going to slow down at all. And the video I watched explained that probably a little bit more elegantly, and it's all been tested as well. And it makes a lot of sense actually. So when you're connecting up your highway roads, as you saw there with the slip road, I think we might be able to do it with this type of highway. Now that's going to curve as well, you see. So if your curve is a little bit sharper like that, you can see that they're going to slow down when they come in. And yes, again, the road is the wrong way. So you want to go for these kind of angles when connecting roads. So now you can see they'll go in a lot faster, and that'll make a huge difference. So pro tip for you right there when doing roads, I'm going to go around and look at a few of mine and see if I can spot that. But anyway, if you remember last episode, we talked about combining these two roundabouts into one big junction down here. Now I actually spent a lot of time building this thing, and I decided not to save my game because I kind of made a bit of a mistake. And one of the things that I did is give myself more space with this power. So let's just redo all of this like so, and then demolish all of those. There we go. Good stuff. Right, so now we've got loads of space. And as I said, I built this thing, and I looked up for a design online, and I found one, and I spent ages building this, you know, marking out the roads. I really like doing that with the intersections. And then when it came to, you know, finalizing it, this is it right here, by the way. It turns out that I didn't have my roads done right, which I'll be able to show you in just a moment. So let's get this in the right place first of all. What we're going to do is build a district around this, a sports one, which is going to look cool. So the slope is too steep in some of the places here, but what I'm looking for is the right kind of connection between the four areas. So we want something that's going to look a little bit natural, make it look like the roads haven't been curved too drastically, and I think that right there maybe tilted a little bit more this way. Yeah, I think that's going to work. Let's just go back a little bit. Oh, that was probably a bit too much. That feels about right to me. The positioning all looks good, and I think we just want to come up a little bit further. There we go. That's going to work for me. Okay, so let's have a look at this road. I spent ages marking out the grids, putting down the parallel roads, and what's really cool about this is it's basically the same one as this intersection right here, but rather than have these inside curving roads, what we've done is we've moved in the diagonal ones so they're a lot closer, and then those ones come from behind and go over the top. So you have this really nice looking road system right here. It looks quite amazing, doesn't it? Now the problem that I made is these roads right here were just a little bit further apart, and when it came to this support strut right here, that's like the absolute maximum it can go. Any further apart and it tries to create a column in the middle, and that is a complete disaster for this thing. So I spent ages doing that, and then I was like, right, okay, we're going to use the template. And the template is raised up, as you can see. And what I did on my one is I actually had this road here go over, and then these ramps that came around the side went even higher. And I've just noticed these are not slip roads. They kind of look like... sorry, they are slip roads. They kind of look like highway ramps in the picture, and I might try and rebuild that because I really wanted to do that with highway ramps. That's kind of worrying. That really is kind of worrying. So let's see if we can upgrade them. I'm pretty sure we won't be able to. I wanted to have it all highway ramps because, you know, maximum bandwidth, etc. Let's go and grab the upgrade tool. So we can definitely do those bits, but when we get to the middle here, no, it doesn't like it, does it? So if those curves were a little bit further apart, we might be able to do that with highways. But I've got a feeling if we're to destroy the roads here, it's going to be very difficult to recreate because we've got no grid on the ground to work with. And that is something that I've completely overlooked with this thing. It really did look like highway ramps going off, which is what I want, you know, maximum bandwidth, like I just said. So let me play around with that. Let's see what we can do here. Hopefully there'll be a way to fix this. Well, I just came to check up on this, and you'll see that they're completely ignoring my policy, which is fantastic. That's going in and going out as well. So I had a look at this, and it said, make sure there are optional routes available because businessmen in the city need to send and receive deliveries. So perhaps they see that there's no alternative route, and then they go for it anyway. That kind of sucks, doesn't it? Because I want to redirect them down to this bit, and I haven't seen any trucks go down here yet. Just garbage trucks heading out. Man, this road right here is really slow, isn't it? So that's kind of disappointing. Oh well, I'll keep my eye on that, but it looks like that one's not going to work. Okay, just starting off with the basics, look at this. This is the problem that I had before, and actually it looks like even with these roads closer together, it's not going to be possible. So when I saw that they were closer together on the screenshot, I kind of assumed that that meant that the gap here was just about right for this road to get from one side to the other. And look there, there's no way it's going to be able to do it, so I think we're going to have to stick with this design right here. Okay, our intersection is in place. I've hooked it up on all sides. Over here we have this little intersection. The roads both kind of split off and join the other ones. You can see it kind of weaves around itself there. I had to do a lot of modifications to that road. Then over here I've joined up Cypress Hills, the name of our industrial incinerator place. Yes, that's what it's called. It really needs renaming. And I hooked it up to this road over here, and I realised that one road just simply points out of the city, so that's actually not hooked up at all, which isn't good. But it made me think that this place is kind of redundant for it, as wherever we connect it, it's not really going to be too effective. So I think we're going to move the incinerators down here and connect it across to this bit so it can get straight into this area right here. And I've also gone around and done all of those commercial zones, so you can see this ring, would it be right there? Actually doesn't look like... There you go, there's a good example. So there's the high density building, and it's in a low area. So what we're going to do now is just unpause it for a second, watch all of that traffic disappear, and then it's now ready to move through these areas. We should also be able to see, there you go, look, some of the buildings disappearing and reappearing. So I'm going to keep my eye on the traffic there, but the next step is obviously to move over those incinerators. But what we're going to do in this area, and that looks really cool actually, seeing the traffic go around there. That's nice. I hope the bandwidth of these can keep up though. That's the one thing I'm very concerned about at this point. But anyway, all of this is raised up, and what it made me think we could do is actually use that to our advantage, so to speak, and do something cool with it. So if we put some roads going underneath like this, I'm going to do something temporary quickly to show you what I'm talking about, but then off camera I'll go and make it look nice. Wow, this is going to look real bad. I was hoping we could get a perfect square going. But what we'll do is something like this, where we have a square that goes around underneath. We can put loads of trees in to make it look real nice. And then this square that's underneath is actually going to then go and connect off to a different sports facility in each corner around this area. So if we go all the way over to this side and pick some of them out, what have we got? We have tennis clubs, so we could put a tennis club over here, or maybe a couple of them to make it look nice and filled up. A public soccer field, we'll build one of those. We've got a baseball field, and a skate park, and another tennis court. We're going to have more than enough in this area. So basically we'll divide it up into 4 sports, something along those lines. And let's have a look and see if we've got a unique building that would fit in here as well. Perhaps we could put in the aquarium or the science centre. They would feel kind of out of place. There's probably definitely going to be something here we could fit into this area, and I am just thinking that we put something in the middle here that was a little bit out of place. Yeah, the stadium. So maybe what we could do is move the stadium into this area and then put a different unique building in the middle of this. So a reduction of the commercial certainly hasn't helped the traffic much. It's probably a little bit lower, but not enough. And you can see where the traffic's going because there's just so much of it heading between the commercial area and our industrial area over here. And this thing looks amazing, doesn't it? So I've been able to map out some roads underneath it. Started off with a square, decided to curve the corners, then connect up the ramps. So actually this acts as a shortcut now. You'll see the occasional car going from or making the right hand turn down here rather than using this little road, but it's not too many, so I'm glad of that, because otherwise if we had all of our right hand traffic, you know, going down the bottom here, it'd be a little bit disastrous. But I don't think this area is actually going to attract too much traffic because they're mainly parks and they're not in the middle of another area. So this is all going to be aesthetics at this point. But anyway, what we can do now is start placing some of these down. So what should we actually start with? We've got the skate park. We're going to have tennis in one area. We're going to have football in another one alongside the stadium. So we've got 2 tennis courts. I'm probably going to go and look up some more of these actually. And I'm just wondering, do I want to put them directly alongside the road, or do we want to have little roads coming off and put them on these outside areas? I think putting them on these roads and then having loads of trees around them is going to look best. So let's say we put one right there. And then our other tennis court, that one is really small. I did not expect it to be so small. That's kind of worrying. I guess we could possibly put 2 of these even though they look the same. Let's just see how it looks for starters. And then we'll put a couple of these small tennis courts in the area as well, like so. I'm thinking a few commercial buildings around here wouldn't be bad either. So obviously they all need some water. Let's just, in fact I'll do that in a moment. Let's just quit out of this view and see what it looks like. So the small ones look a little bit repetitive. These 2 look okay like that. I think when there's other stuff in this area it's going to look alright, but the small ones are a fair bit too small, aren't they? I think we might have to skip on those. I'm going to go look for some more of these online. And of course I'll bring some power and water over here. But the trees are what I think is going to make the big difference. If we go and select these ones right here, these are my favourite. Just picture this area with lots of dense trees around it, all filled in, going all the way around. And then from above you'll have this lovely garden-like area. And you'll see, yeah, these stadiums and tennis courts and all sorts in the middle of it. I think it's going to look real cool. Now that is more like what I'm talking about. That looks real cool. This is what I had kind of in mind. However, the scale of these buildings just don't quite feel right. You know, your commercial building like this is a lot bigger than your stadium. Although it doesn't look like the biggest of stadiums. I mean, wait a minute, what's going on here? Are they actually sitting in the seats? Let's do a little bit of the old first-person zoom. Oh, that's actually really cool. Brought his dog in to watch the game. The seats themselves don't look too glamorous, but it's cool that the dog's going to play some tennis as well. Oh, so they come inside this area. That's interesting. They can sit on the under the parasols, as they're called, on the side. That's really cool, but the way they walk on the actual stadium is a little bit silly. Or sorry, on the pitch, so to speak. That's awesome. I love that. It's looking real cool. So let's exit out of that view. And I'm going to guess they'll probably use these ones in a similar fashion as well. Though I don't see anyone in there at the moment, but it looks real nice with the trees around it, and I think I want to make them a little bit more dense in this area. But the commercial buildings look cool leading into this. We've got some plazas and yeah, and then the 2 tennis courts on either side. So that's this area over here. We've got a car park down the side, and my only concern is that these things aren't quite as big as I'd like them to be. However, some of the baseball fields we have over here were really big when I was placing them down, but now I go and look at them, you can see that they don't really have like stadiums around them and they don't look too glamorous. So at the moment our options are kind of limited, but we'll work with what we got. You see, that looks really good from back here, but then when you scale it up to the size of the cars and stuff, it looks a little bit wimpy and small. But there's a couple of terraces on the side, which is nice. And this one over here, that looks real good. Yeah, that's a much nicer looking... Well, you could call it a stadium. There's very small seats, but the field itself looks really good. And then a basketball court over here. Some more to be done. I think what we'll do next is bring in that stadium. Let's actually relocate that right away. Where would this go? Because it's quite... it's fairly big. It's not the biggest, is it? And also we've taken up a lot of space with our other things. By the way, I'm not keeping these in the same position, I'm just kind of checking it out. So I think along this road would look best, although probably at the end of the road would look really good. And that's going to create a load of noise. So over in that area, we're probably not going to have anything at the end of the road. So before we relocate this for 40,000, why don't we actually move something else out of the way? This one right here, how much does that cost to relocate? Can we put it over here temporarily? Can if we destroy a building. Yeah, 200. So we move that one first, and then we bring this one over. Alright, so you can see what's going on here. I'll build another area, and I'll show you it when it's done. Oh, and actually, that lines up with the road in the middle there. Really nice. That looks ever so good. But as I was just thinking, we want to put another building over here. So what should it be? We've got a whole bunch of these to pick from. We could put the courthouse in the middle or the colossal offices. I don't think they would really fit either of those. We've built that. No, we haven't. That's the opera house. Maybe we'll put the opera house in there. Okay, yeah, let's go for that one. We'll put this one down here. And then we'll zoom out and have a look. Yeah, that looks real nice, actually. That makes a big difference, I think. Do you know what? I'm really enjoying this. It looks so good, and this is going to tie so much of the area together. I've been putting in little footpaths, by the way. They kind of join up these areas. That means we can extend our sort of forest out into this place and make it look really pretty. These trees, man, they make a fantastic difference to everything. And just filling in all of these gaps here, you can see it really does improve the quality of it. But as well as doing that, you want to go around and do it without the brush tool as well, because there's lots of little gaps that you can get alongside. Like over here, there wasn't any of those before. I managed to squeeze in some trees over there. And another thing that I've done, by the way, I forgot to mention, was put down loads of these footpaths. And actually, if you look underneath here, it might be very hard to see now. Oh, wait a minute, we can do this. We can press the magic button and go to first-person camera mode. We have a path going underneath here, and that is seriously cool. I really like that. And it comes up to the road here and doesn't really go any further. But you can actually place that, and it's kind of tricky because it looks like you can't. So let's go back to the normal view. But if we select the path tool, and we go all the way over here, and then we look for the edge of the road, so we can see the edge of the road is somewhere around there. You see that this thing is actually dropping down below. It isn't connecting with the highway. And then we can bring it from one road all the way to the other. We can then press the first-person camera mode, zoom in and go and have a look at it. Okay, and there you go. We built a path from one side to the other. So yeah, things are going well in this area. I'm having fun doing the paths and putting in all the trees. I'm going to continue with all of that, and we're starting to develop a little bit of traffic, probably for these commercial buildings, which is something I got to consider. I might have put one too many over in this area, so I might remove one or two. But this is our baseball area. We've got a couple of basketball courts on the corner as well, some car parks over here. Paths to tie it all together. It's looking real nice. And what was the other thing I was going to mention? Services. Yes, if we look at these buildings right here, we kind of want these to be the top ones, and I think we're going to need services to do that. However, this guy's well on his way to becoming a top level building. What about these guys? Look at that. Crime is starting to occur. So on one of these sections, we're going to have loads of services, and I think it's going to be this one over here, just around the stadium. We've also got a metro line there. I haven't hooked any of this up yet. One over here, and also a train line as well, which is going to tie things together nicely. So this one's going to be our football or soccer segment around this area. We'll put a couple of football fields in. I don't think there's a stadium, but I will look into that. And then over on this one, I guess it's just going to be the stadium by itself, probably some more car parks and some services as well. Oh, we got a water problem over here. Wow, I've been playing for a while and I haven't noticed that. And I've just noticed that we have a unique building, but then I've been scratching my head and thinking, no we don't. This is one of the ones that I've downloaded, because there were only 5 of them here before. But now that I've spotted this thing, I think that's going to look pretty cool. I think what we'll actually do is remove this bigger one over here. Yep, we will proceed with that and replace it with another unique building, which doesn't actually contribute to our unique building process. Or progress would be the correct word. And then we can fit that in right there. And let's see how that looks. That looks amazing. That is the best stadium by far. Look at that. Oh, that looks so cool. I love stadiums, by the way. Always been fascinated by football stadiums and stuff. And I just like the layout of that one. That's really cool. Loved how some of it is roofed over on this side and not on that side. And a big screen as well. That's a really nice detailed build right there. That's really cool. And that fits in ever so well to this area. That's the finishing touch right there, because otherwise this one was kind of like smaller parks. But yeah, we got that as well. Okay, so it's looking good. making progress. Put in the services over here, by the way. Just haven't hooked any of this area up, so I'll start doing that. Okay, it's done, I think. I can't remember what I said last time I recorded, but I've done loads of little bits and bobs. And be sure to leave a comment and let me know what you think of this. I've got to say, it didn't turn out quite as nice as I thought it was. I figured that these buildings would be a little bit bigger, like this one over here. Maybe they'd stand out a little bit more. But it does look very cool. And I like the way you can see where the area kind of ends by where the tree lines are, and to accommodate that I put some different types of trees in this area, just filled it up with a brush tool, and that kind of separates the two areas, which looks really cool. And when we zoom out, that looks absolutely awesome, I think. So yeah, there's still a few more things to be done, like hooking up the metro and the train line as well, and we need to give this thing a district and a district name. And at the moment I was thinking of something lame like sports districts. If you've got any ideas, let me know down there in the comments, and we'll pick out a different name for this right here. But there we go, that's our sports district for now, which looks cool. They called it Olive District. I don't think that's a fitting name. So down here, let's have a closer look. I put in some office buildings on the soccer side. We've got 4 soccer fields. This kind of looks more like a training facility than it does, you know, a proper stadium. But I thought, hey, the office buildings look cool as well. And even if it's not the ideal place to put them, that variety is good. So down here, we've got, like, you know, the club's merchandise shop. I put in a little low residential right there, and also a bit of low residential along the front of this, whereas actually that would probably be the ideal place to put the high residential like we have over here. And all of these are top level as well, and they're not the prettiest of buildings. I was hoping we could get some like these ones in place, but there you go, we got what we got, and it works out pretty well, and the city is doing good overall. So I don't think there's too much else to say. I'm looking at this and thinking, have I forgotten anything? But yeah, our area here is looking really great. I love what we've done with this. Oh, and by the way, I put in a massive car park. Look at that thing right there. That actually looks really fitting next to this big stadium, kind of suggesting that you would, you know, go and park your car and then go into the stadium. And so all in all, I think this turned out pretty well. But let me do those last hookups, and then we'll check up on the city and probably wrap things up. So I've added a whole bunch of metro lines, also some train lines as well, and we should probably do some bus lines, but I'm sick of adding lines. But you can see here our numbers are better than they've been before. However, this is nowhere near where we really want it to be. And I think in general the layout of our city is a little chaotic, and our bus routes are kind of chaotic as well. So let's just zoom out and have one last look at this area. That's it, we've kind of done it. Remember to leave a comment and let me know if you've got any ideas for a name for this area and what you think about it as well. I think it turned out really good. I really do like that. It's looking awesome. Nice to do something a little bit different from just regular zoning as well. But that's going to be it for this episode. If you've enjoyed it, please do leave a like. It'll be greatly appreciated. 2,000 of those, and we'll have another daily episode tomorrow. But as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.